Hi everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small. Today we're going to be reviewing another Clash of Steel release from Gale Force 9. This time it's the War of Unification, American versus German, the complete starter set. In full disclosure, Gale Force 9 did send me this set as well as the British/Soviet set to review. So they did send me these, but as always, you're going to get my my unbiased opinion on the product. All right, so I was kind of surprised by this release because it feels like the first two Clash of Steel boxes just came out. So I was surprised they came out so quickly with these. I don't know if that means that the first two boxes sold really well and they want to strike while the iron is still hot, or what. But more tiny little tanks is always welcome. Now, this particular set, so in the first set, it takes place in 1948, so it's a hypothetical right after World War II. And this is moving the timeline along, I think, to 1958 or 56 or something like that. We'll take a closer look at that as we get in there. This particular box has 20 tanks. Just to give you kind of a comparison to the previous two box sets, the first American Soviet box I think had 21, and then the British German I think had 17, had the least. So I think those numbers are right. So this has 20. It's kind of right there in the middle, and we see some cool new tanks here. So let's go ahead and flip it over. This is also the fattest of the Clash of Steel boxes that I've received. They're not all identical. So we get a lot of stuff in here. So we get a German force and an American force. For the Germans, you get an E100, 3 Panthers that can take the 8.8 centimeter, 3 Scorpions, and 3 regular Panthers. So that'll be interesting to see if we only get like 3 upgrade sprues for the 8.8 or if it's a different tooling or what. For the American force, we get 4 M103s, 3 M48s, and 3 Easy 8s. While I love the Easy 8, my favorite Sherman tank, I've got a bazillion of those, but I am more interested for this release for those two tanks. And then it tells us what else is in here. We got, obviously the 20 tanks, then we've got 20 tank commanders. You could have a guy, I guess, sticking out of every single hatch. Decals, rulebook, quick start rules, 20 dice, 2 force booklets, 30 unit cards. So again, just like the first release, more unit cards than what's in the box, more vehicles. 34 tokens, 3 objective markers, 2 victory point dials, 26 tactical cards, 6 mission cards, 9 mission rule cards, 22 objective cards. It'll be interesting to see if they updated the tactics cards, mission cards, and whatnot. We'll take a closer look at that as well during the unboxing. So this isn't just a simple unboxing for those who are new to our AmGas unboxings. I do like to take it apart, assemble some of the models, look over the rules before I come back at the end of the video with my final thoughts. So we try to give you a little bit more bang for your buck. All right, let's try to open this. Okay. It's like a satisfying amount of plastic. Again, more generic dice. Not too bad. And so this has to be the E100. For the last box set, they said, you know what, the mouse isn't big enough, so we got to go with something even bigger. So there's that. We're definitely going to put that one together. We've got 3 of the, what are these? Oh, Scorpion Gs. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Also a 2024 tooling, so these are brand new. With just a giant gun. I wonder if that's an 88 or bigger. Then we have some traditional Panther sprues. Looks like we've got 6 identical ones of those. And you can tell they're the traditional ones because it also has the ability to make Jagd Panthers on here as well. And these are 6 of these, which are for your Panther 8.8s and your traditional Panthers. And then I imagine These are your Panther upgrade. Let's see what it says. Well, these are 2012. That's kind of an older tooling. Have they been planning this all along? With the barrel there. The tracks. So actually, I think these are just standard Panther toolings, because I think the Panther kit, yeah, because it's got the tracks. So there's got to be, they're just mixed with the Americans here. So these 6 go with the other 6 sprues. Lots of sprues to build the Panthers, apparently. And then under here, this looks like our upgrade. I guess this is why they had that box. We needed the extra room for all of the Panther parts. So these are the upgraded Panther parts. I don't know if you can read that. 8.8 Panther 2023. So this one was done last year at the time of filming. Then over here for the Americans, we've got a big old honkin' frame. This has got to be the M103. Yep, M103 or T57. Again, a 2024 tooling. And a nice olive drab color. So if you don't want to paint it, you don't have to. You get 4 of those. Good old Sherman sprues. Love building the Sherman tank. Easy 8's my favorite. Easy 8, these are 2021 toolings. And then, an exciting part of this is the M48, which is again a 2024 tooling, brand new, because this is going to have some application beyond just, I think, this box set or this game. This might go into early Team Yankee or Checkpoint Charlie if that ever comes out. M48s were used in Vietnam, so if you're playing the Battlefront Vietnam game, yeah, so very cool. The M48's a cool looking tank. So that's all the plastic. Oh, that's quite a bit of plastic. Looks like you got some resin figures. These must be for the Scorpions, since I think that's the only open topped thing there is. Then you've got sprues of tank commanders. Then you've got, there's box that keeps on giving more Panther parts. And then this is going to be the we have the decals before we get rid of that box. We have the decals, which are kind of like the all-in-one Allied, German, and Soviet. And then these are little pegs to hold the victory dials together. So I wonder if this is the same exact. Well, it can't be the exact. It's going to have the new forces books in it. But if the rule books are the same, so that looks the same. It's got pictures of purgings in it. Then you've got your Clash of Steel rulebook, which that looks the same. You've got the American forces and the German forces for the War of Unification. We'll take a closer look at those in a minute. Assembly guides. Then we have cardboard to punch out and the unit cards, missions, and all the other cards we need. I forget the names of each of these cards, but tactics cards. And these ones are for mission rules. Yeah. Okay, let's take a closer look at some of this stuff. All right, there you go, guys. I built some of the models, and I also read the War of Unification book. This set comes with an American Forces book and a German Forces book that has the stats for all of the models you can use, not just the ones that are in the game, in the box, but also the other ones that are being released alongside this range or have been released in the previous version. So I did read a little bit more about the hypothetical. So this assumes 1958, I believe, that basically various uprisings across Eastern Europe, a reunified Germany, and that happened much earlier than in real life, and then a shooting war beginning in former East Germany. There is NATO in this timeline, so the British, Americans, and Germans are supposed to be allied, which does make this box set a little bit interesting in that it's Clash of Steel. It's Americans versus Germans, but in the narrative or in the story, it's the Germans are on the Allied side. And I didn't see, maybe I missed it, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, any place that said there were rogue German elements that fought NATO on the Warsaw Pact side or anything that would give justification for these two forces to fight. Now, that said, the fluff, I hardly ever read the fluff. I like my history. But to be honest, I haven't read much of the Team Yankee fluff, and if I do, I just read it once or skim it to kind of get an idea of what's going on, or I more enjoy the scenarios, even the quote-unquote historical scenarios in Team Yankee, or the real ones, hypothetical ones in Flames of War. But, so it's not that important to come up with an excuse for these guys to fight. I mean, it's Germans and Americans, so you can imagine that battle quite easily in your head. The rules are the same. I did also verify that the cards are all the same. So I don't know if you remember me saying earlier in the video, I was wondering if the cards had anything new in them. And it looks like the mission cards, all those cards are the same. Obviously this deck of unit cards is specific to this set, but otherwise all of that. And maybe it's just the release schedule. This was released too close to the other one, but it would have been cool if this box had a different set of missions or updated missions or new cards, so that if you had both sets, maybe you could combine them and have even more tactics cards and stuff like that. The games that I have played, those mechanics have been pretty fun, and one of the cool things that separates this release from Flames of War is having these cards and almost like a 40k mission structure. So it would have been cool to have different ones. Maybe for I think they're doing a third set of these down the road. Maybe the third set they could put in different missions or additional tactics cards that we can add. Okay, so that's the actual game system itself. I mean, the box itself. The rules are basically Flames of War Light, when you don't have infantry or artillery or air power to worry about. The game is very streamlined, so it plays quick. There's less ambiguity in the rules. One of the big things that causes head scratching or trying to figure out is like assaults, like tanks assaulting infantry or infantry assaulting artillery or whatever. You don't have that problem here, and it's not a problem, but it's a more fiddly part of the rules. It's not an issue here. So for an introductory player, this is pretty cool. The tanks you could see are awesome. Now, none of these tanks would have been appropriate for World War II, but afterwards they would. Now, the E100 is, I mean, there was a prototype built, but it wasn't finished, so it's kind of a hypothetical tank. I think the same is true from the Scorpion. The M103s and the M48s obviously are real tanks. The M48, very successful tank. The M103, not so successful, but they still built hundreds of them, and they did serve with the Army and primarily the United States Marines. But cool-looking tank nevertheless. As far as assembly goes, all of these were a dream to put together. I really liked them. The E100, I had a little concern because it had side skirts. The side skirts went on like a dream. I'm going to do a separate video where I assemble this and a couple of other ones, just so we can go into that in more detail. But suffice it to say, for this video, very easy to put together, and you can see they're molded in an appropriate color. So you could play just like this, without having to do um, anything else really to your models. I obviously am going to paint them probably at some point, but to give you an idea. I was surprised by this when I saw the picture of it. I thought this was a little thing, but I did not realize it's actually on a Panther hull. So and this gun is ginormous. It's ridiculous. There are some crew that I could glue in there. I'm going to paint those separate, or maybe just skip them at all. When you use these things in like World of Tanks, you never see the crew anyway. They don't show people. But there you go, guys. So that is the War of Unification American versus German starter set. I believe this is retailing for $75, which, if still true when you watch this, is an amazing deal. Even at $100, this would be an amazing deal with the amount of models. Again, you're getting 19 models in here, so you're getting 2 playable forces out of the box. You only get 1 of these, sadly, but you do get 3 of the Panthers, regular Panthers, 3 Panther 8.8s, and I think you get 3 of the Scorpions. On the American side, you get 4 of these massive honkin' M103s, which do come with an alternate turret. This turret doesn't have rules in the game, but you can build it so you can swap them out later. It comes with 4 of these, I think 3 of the M48s and 3 of the Shermans, which I didn't build because I have a bazillion of them. So there you go, guys. That's my unboxing first look at Clash of Steel. I'm probably going to have more battle reports for this because the battle report I did have, several people have asked me for more. There's not a ton of content for this game out there. So if you want to see it, let me know. Shout out in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you played Clash of Steel at all yet, the first release? It seems like it's a successful release for Battlefront and Gale Force 9, but I'm not seeing a ton of content for it yet. And maybe I need to lead the charge. It is a fun game. It is a fun diversion from Flames of War. It's not, in my opinion, a replacement for Flames of War at all, but it is definitely fun to play and a nice change of pace. Alright, guys, if you do like my Flames of War content or Team Yankee content or what I do, please do consider our Patreon. Patreon members get access to a battle report every month, whether Flames of War or Team Yankee, and or join the Facebook, not Facebook, the YouTube members page there, which just helps us support the channel as well, where you get access to early access videos and all that kind of good stuff. Our Discord server. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.